Ben's mind is damaged. His memories are worse. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another random horror review. I am your host, Moon616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yeah, episode 65 is here, and I've got another one here for midnight releasing, and yeah, another film I've never actually heard of. Didn't know anything about this one going into it. Production from 2014, just released here on home media in 2016, and it is called Beautiful Prison. Yeah. I didn't really know what to expect from the cover of this. I didn't even think it was a horror film at first, but we'll get into that in a minute. So basically the premise of this one right here is about a guy named Ben. Now Ben has a little bit of brain damage, and you know, he's just basically kind of struggles with his everyday life. One night he gets into a struggle with his brother-in-law, and he has a pretty bad accident which leaves him in a coma. Now when he thinks he awakens from a coma, you know, only to find that, you know, in his world, he's, you know, he's not brain damaged anymore. He has like these really kind of odd supernatural powers. But the weird thing about it is that, you know, all these demons start appearing in his life. Like all his friends start turning into demons, and all this crazy things start happening to him. And then, you know, this keeps going on and on, only to find out that he actually didn't awaken from his coma, and he's actually still in the coma. So that kind of changes everything for him. Once he learns that he's, you know, obviously still in this coma and he's in this like very kind of strange world, he learns to manipulate the world, and he kind of changes, and he kind of lives in this world and things like that. But, you know, of course the demons are haunting him from his past, and now he's got to figure out a way to deal with these demons while he's in this coma and try to eventually get out of this world. So that is, you know, the premise of the film right there. Now my thoughts on this one. You know, I really enjoyed the first half of this film. I thought it was fantastic. The first, you know, 15 minutes of the film, you get a lot of backstory, you get a lot of character development with Ben and his family and his, you know, and his sister and her husband. His sister's husband is actually his boss at work, and a lot of problems stem from there. But you learn his background and why he has brain damage and everything. And it's going really cool. And then he gets into his accident, and it starts, you know, the first kind of third of the film is very kind of dramatic. And then when he gets into his accidents, that's when kind of the horror elements of the film start. Like I said, with all the demons and all this crazy things that are happening with him, and just all these kind of gnarly things that are happening. And then the halfway point of the film happens, and, you know, once you learn that he awakens from his, or that he's, you know, actually still in this coma, which I'm not really spoiling this, it actually says this right on the back of the DVD if you're wondering. I think the film just kind of loses its steam. It really kind of goes downhill from there, big time. It starts to deal with him, you know, inside his world, and then it gets a little bit into like romantic elements to it. There's a little bit of dark comedy and things that are happening and stuff. But I think the main problem is just the lack of story in this one. I think it doesn't really know what exactly it wants to be. You know, it's got all these kind of different elements and genres of film. You know, it starts drama, gets into horror, gets into romance, got a little bit of dark comedy and kind of quirky elements to it. But I think the second half of the film, it just kind of takes you in a place where you're like, okay, I'm pretty sure I know where this is going, and it actually does. So ultimately, it's very, very predictable. And, you know, with that said, man, you know, it's just unfortunate because it doesn't really have much of a third act. It doesn't really have that suspenseful buildup you think it would have. And it just kind of leaves you going, yeah, I pretty much thought that was going to happen. I was very, very disappointed with this. It started out so good. It only runs about 83 minutes. It is a quick watch. And I was never bored in this film. I just like, I kept saying to myself, I'm pretty sure this is going to happen and stuff like that. So that was kind of unfortunate, man. I'm always blown away when you're, you know, first half of the film is great, and the second half is just the complete opposite. It kind of takes me back a little bit. But, you know, the overall specs in the film, man, I thought the acting was fantastic. The guy that plays the lead character, Ben, did a great job. I believe is Caleb Stockwell. He did a great job in this film. Like, when he is playing his brain damaged character, he's very, very believable. And, you know, when he becomes just normal and stuff, it's pretty cool, too. But all around acting was great. The film looks good, too. It's shot well. It's edited well. The musical cues are really good. Some of the music's really cool, especially when Ben's running around and, you know, it's kind of like this techno kind of upbeat music and stuff. It does really kind of fit. But just as an overall product, man, this one really just wasn't for me. I could see a lot of people actually kind of digging this film. I have a really hard time with when you have romantic elements kind of mixed in with a horror film. That kind of drives me a little bit nuts, and I can't accept it for some reason. But it's not a poorly made film whatsoever. It's just definitely not for me. And I can see a lot of people that do watch this channel, this probably wouldn't be for them either. But, you know, not a poorly made film. I think there's a lot of good quality things here. But I just think the story just definitely lacked. It didn't really know what it wanted to be. And it didn't really eventually go to that place where it would have been probably a lot better. But I'm not here to judge what it should have been. I'm here to, you know, review what it is. But it is what it is. This one was kind of disappointed. I can't recommend this film. I'm going to have to give it about a 4.5 out of 10. It's very... it's just, I'm still kind of numb about the idea that the second half of the film just took me to a place where I didn't really want to go. Yeah, it's very, very unfortunate. I think they could have done a lot with this and kind of elevated, you know, the whole... you know, his bad memories and stuff. I know exactly what they were trying to do in this. I just don't think it was executed to, you know, the best of the abilities of where the story could have been. So, but yeah, beautiful prison, man. I just can't recommend this one. It's unfortunate because it started out so good, so disappointing. But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for episode 65 here on my random horror review series. I'll be back with another review very, very soon. So be on the lookout for that. And as usual, check you guys later. Peace!